Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of What You Know What It Is, the Iconist podcast. And I'm going to say straight off the bat, the icon is today Aeon Flux, right? We wanted to do this for, International Women's Month. I know I wanted to get it out there. I know usually I kind of delay on it, but we want to get right to the meat of the matter. Before we go any further, I remind you what the show is all about. One, there's two co-hosts. And I always throw him off guard when I do my things because sometimes I'm just off kilter. But he forgives me because that's what family does. I'm one of your hosts, Barry3D. Links down below at barry3d.com. See where I'm at, be it on here virtually or live. And as always, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who's always by my side, even though I go off script. And he hasn't killed me yet.
Nah.
The amazing DJ, cousin, best friend, the one and only
DJ Rod C. Good day to everyone. Hope you all are having a good day, a good time, a good night. Listen, the icon is Aeon Flux. But before we get there, we got a couple more things to do. What do we got to do?
Well, we got to do our proper shoutouts because our parents raised us right.
I just about to say that.
Right? Exactly. So first of all, remember, support the book. So to support the book. You support the books, you get all this wonderful extra media that goes with it. So what by that, we mean support the books because we support them. If you're out in Kitchener, check out Wild Comics with Wes and the gang. And if you're down out in Montreal, make your drive over to the South Shore, hit up Check's Wings and say hi to Trevor and the rest of the gang over there and tell them that everyone from the Iconist podcast, we said hi. Right on. Now, if you want to catch me live, along with the crew that I roll with for stand-up comedy, keep an eye out for A Touch of Grey Matter, which is myself, Barry3D, Dave Sokolowski, and Zulf Ali. And we always have a special guest. We got some shows coming up, so always keep an eye out for that. It's going to be entertaining and fresh, excited. Da-na-na-na-na. Right on. On that note, if you want to do a podcast, come on, turn around. Don't be shy. And there's no time like the present. And you got to choose who we choose because it's worked out really well for us to date. And that is Podbean. You can't go wrong. So if you want to find us, look for the link down below. You'll see it here. We got ours on there, iconistpodbean.com. Podbean will turn around and take care of the heavy lifting and put all that out until where everyone gets their podcast from. So from iTunes to Spotify. Don't miss out. Sweet. On that note, we always have our unseen member, the one, the only, who puts up with our madness. Almost 2 years in, but it's been a huge supporter of the show, and we're a huge supporter of him. Remember, if you need any work done from virtual to live, regardless of the event, from calendars to posters to banners to pamphlets and more, you mention his name and say that you heard about the Iconist podcast, and he'll give you a discount. Rod, who am I talking about today?
J. Bird Digital Arts.
J. Bird Digital Arts. That man cares a lot about what he does, and if you care about what you do, he'll hook you up and make it sweet.
Let's go.
Woo! I think we got that done in record time.
Maybe we did.
We did. Good. For once. All right, then. And as we said, we are talking about Aeon Flux. It was a cartoon. It was a movie. It was comic books. It was video games. I think there was limited number of statues that went around of this character. And we are doing this because we wanted to do something. We haven't heard much about her in a while since the movie. And now it's time for studios are always looking at what to reboot, what to bring back. This is the time. You want a little bit of something superhero, something that's off the beaten path. This stands out for it. So here we go. First of all, this got released back on MTV. I want my MTV. That's right. When MTV started kind of getting into the whole dabbling of not just playing music, like much music, and they were going to MTV and they wanted to have shows along with, so it was way before, Teen Mom and OG Teen Mom and Teen Mom OG and and then Jersey Shore stuff. And right before then, they had a nice block of cartoons that were on there. And it's, a nice animation block. And that was the Max. That was the Head. That was Aeon Flux. This is one of the properties that were part of it. Beavis and Butthead. This is, if you remember, King of the Hill those characters made appearances in Beavis and Butthead, but they were older. So you never know. So thank you, MTV. And this came out in November 30th of 1991. So we're not that far back.
Yeah.
Right? And it ran up to about October 10th of 1995. So this came out for about 3 seasons. And at first they were just little, 10-minute shorts. And then MTV said, hey, we like the character so much. Bring him back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring her back, I should say. And the funny thing is, when this was created by, there's so many people and so much voice work. So Peter Chung. Peter Chung was the creator of Aeon Flux. He started this off as a kind of an experiment. He wanted to experiment with art styles, and storytelling. So this is why it had a very unique look at the time. Right. Even her look. So she's like a part spy. She's part assassin. She's very limber acrobat person, very limber. Had a unique look to her with her costume. And it takes place, in a dystopian future. The Earth is a certain way, and there's 2 major cities, and she's in one city where there's kind of no rules to it, Monica, and then dealing with Trevor, who was in charge of the other city that ran with rules. Trevor Goodchild. There we go. Trevor Goodchild. And it had like its rules, and he, dystopian and martial law. Right. And she's always trying to fight Trevor, and that's where the two, it was like itchy and scratchy.
You know what? Yeah, definitely. She her outfit, she had that type of scantily type of look. It looked very hold on. I can't even talk. Dominatrix. Yes. I'm like trying to throw out the word out there like that. Right. And you can see when you look at that, it definitely looks very adult. They're looking like Adult Swim kind of high level, something that's like, whoa.
Yeah, ain't for kids.
This ain't kids. This is after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning type of right. The kind of showing. One thing I wanted to bring up, I don't know if we're going to get back to it, but Peter Chung. Peter Chung, yes, as Barry was saying, his style was very unique. It had that type of visual, elongated type of look and everything like that. Yes. One good thing about it, in a sense, like again, he wanted to do something different. Peter Chung was also one of the animators for Rugrats. And if you remember Rugrats, they were now, smaller kids, all stump and everything like that. So he was always working on giving that proportion of being that very stump little child with short arms and everything like that. So now he wanted to experiment and go on the other side of the spectrum, having very tall, elongated actions and all that type of movement. So this is where one of the foundation of his creativity for making Aeon Flux drawn and presented in that particular manner. So that's one of the little tidbits about Peter Chung and the similarities. He worked on Rugrats in the early days, and that's actually around the same time. He did Rugrats first, and then basically he had the opportunity to work on this and did something completely different. So
absolutely.
You can see the similarities when you look back at it. You'll see the similarity in the drawing styles in that regard.
For sure. And just add a little bit more tidbits on Peter. So Peter's actually done a lot of work, and maybe you've seen some of his work before. So there's an anime that I like called Rain, right? Reign, and that was his retelling. So it's almost drawn that same style as Aeon Flux, but his retelling of Alexander the Great or Julius Caesar, one of the two. That it's it's called Reign the Conqueror, and that was his take on that, and it came in 4 DVDs, and it had a lot good storytelling. If you like Aeon Flux, you would definitely like Reign the Conqueror. I would say definitely look that up. He's also worked, as you said, Rugrats. He worked on the Animatrix. So on the Animatrix, it had some shorts in there. You'll see some of his work in there, and it's very easy to tell his style. His style is it's unique to him. Just like Jarowski, I can't remember, Jarowski, the one who does Primal, did Samurai Jacket style, is unique to him. So he's got that style, and I would really love to see more about it from him. I'm looking forward to see what he does next. And I know he's probably got other projects. This one, the Aeon's Flux stood out for me. You're right. She had the dominatrix black outfit, had a small gun, a small knife, and always limber, always doing gymnastics in whatever she was doing going forward. Now, in the shorts, what was very unique at the time is when he made these little shorts, she ends up dying at the end of the shorts all the time because he was never planning on doing a series. So he would do it and she would end up dying. And then, come back and would do another one. She would end up dying. So now the mind is, okay, are these one and dones? We didn't know. And how I interpret it is these were clones. Right? Because there's one where you see other bodies of her lying around and she's still around. So I said, okay, they're cloning her, which, maybe that wasn't it, but that's how I interpret it because I like to have that uniform thing. Like, how do you keep bringing a character back, tell a story in different versions of her, and she always ends up passing away. So he didn't have any, it wasn't his goal to have an ongoing series. And MTV is like, no, we like what you do. Keep it going. We want a continuation. And he was like, oh, but I never, wanted that.
That wasn't the plan.
Was not the plan. He didn't want that. He wasn't looking to do that. And sometimes people, they might have their sight for it. MTV wanted something as a station. He's like, you can't keep killing off the main person. Her name wasn't even supposed to be Aeon Flux, but everyone liked the name of that. And it had this kind of dystopian future with the, German expressionist parts to it. So it was really unique at the time, and it caught my eye. It was just, I say, every time you watch it, well, she dead again? She dead again? All right, new story. She dead again? And I said, sometimes by fluke, sometimes by fate, sometimes by circumstance. It was, and that's what I like. I like when they and to MTV's credit, I know that was his vision. And sometimes as an artist, you got to be told, hey, you got something really good here. Instead of killing off the character every single time and you want to walk away with it and be a recluse, why don't you try to build something? Because there's an audience. The audience is there. Don't shortchange the audience. I'm not saying to sell out, but if you're going to kill off your person all the time, you're going to lose the audience. You want to bring them back because obviously they're interested in whatever you're trying to create.
Completely.
So,
in that sense, you're saying like you're not killing. Not saying you're killing the sacred cow. This is the opportunity that you've got created, and every single time you're eventually going to wean off, and people are not going to like it as much. So yeah, you need to figure a way of just like stay in the loop, just stay in that pocket. Do everything minus killer. Do everything minus killer. Do everything minus killer. Okay, we got it? Thank you very much.
Exactly. Sometimes some episodes didn't have any words, any dialogue. It's maybe one word, just one word. It's a picture if you watch The Simpsons, and every time you watch The Simpsons, they died at the end of the episode. And it wasn't like, the haunted treehouse as they like to do, right? So, because that one's going to be a one and done. Okay, fine. That's just a tale. It's for Halloween. But ongoing every week. Oh, yeah. Oh, they did. Oh, here they are. Blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 da. Boom. They did. At one point, you're like, okay, well, they keep dying. So everyone, wants to say the person survived. What happens next week? You can't kill them off all the time. So I'll agree with the station with MTV was a good move to say, hey, give us something. He didn't want to do it, but, he did. So maybe it went against his beliefs or what his vision was. But this is one time I kind of side with the studio over the artist. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Done. So I like the whole thing. What it really, and the essence to me of Aeon Flux was not so much the action, it was the interaction, the psychology behind the character. Like, why are they doing certain things? Like, and we all know I'm all about world building. So you built this world, there's two major cities, polar opposites. Like these cities to me and these characters, okay, I feel it best I can do it this way. Aeon Flux and Trevor Goodchild is like Batman and Catwoman. Because the two characters have an attraction. The two characters have a want. For example, like Trevor Goodchild has everything in his city. Everything, he's a self-appointed leader.
Right.
Everything is going perfectly well in his city the way he wants it to do. He's got everything he wants at his fingertips, except for Flux. He doesn't have her. The one thing he really, truly wants, he doesn't have. Right. And vice versa. Aeon is sent to, Flux is sent to kill Trevor. And a lot of times she's stealing stuff from him, but she's supposed to assassinate him. And every time she's got him in a position to assassinate him, she can't pull the trigger. She's able to blow up all and kill off his guards and robots and everyone else in place. And when she's got him dead to rights, she can't do it. Like something stops her. So the psychology behind that reminds me a lot of Batman and Catwoman, because they are both, Batman's a vigilante. He's breaking the law, but he's breaking the law for good. Catwoman kind of does it to her own thing. So she wasn't really a vigilante. She was a villain, then an anti-hero.
Yep.
But there's a love interest between the two of them. And it's like both of them are saying, hey, Batman, you should be more of an anti-hero or a villain and we'd be good. And he's like, no, Catwoman, you should be more a vigilante and we'd be good.
Right.
So there's ideologies that are there. So that's one. And then my other part was the two cities that they live in. You don't really see many more of the cities around. Those are the two cities that you really see the most of, is where Aeon is from and where Trevor is at. And it reminds me of, once again, Apocalypse and New Genesis.
Okay.
Right? They're like two worlds in that universe from, Fourth World with Jack Kirby.
Right.
They're the only two main worlds in there that you always see if you read anything on the New Gods, is Apocalypse and New Genesis. And that's it. And they kind of go back and forth like with this itchy and scratchy thing. They fight, itchy and scratchy show. So that's my take of how I see Aeon Flux. Strong character, but that's how I see her, and her and Trevor.
Yeah, no, they basically some type of like a connection there. So it's one of those type of hidden type of, some conscious type of relation, some type of yin and yang between them. And you're actually right. And you actually brought a good analogy with Batman and Catwoman. Because when you see it, and stuff I read on and kind of reminding me, and when you really read it and then you look and you see the cartoon, you realize, yeah, you can definitely see that there's time that she had him in his midst and like, no. And then they just basically have that type of connection that like say, okay, we're not going to do anything to each other. It's, like drifting
right.
ships in the wind type of scenario.
Right.
And just like say, let's just break even and just go. And that's it. And realizing that they both have a goal, they both have an agenda, they both have a mission to do. But when they come across each other at that particular moment, that's when everything's like, forget the mission. I'm just going to go right now. I just gotta go get a cold shower or something along that line. We're out.
Exactly. But so I know that they had the series and I went there for a while, and that was really cool. And then the first series kind of went into some comic books, so some comic book issues. And I admit I never read the comic books. I like the art because it kind of stayed true to the source material.
Right.
So I have to go back and I admit, there's a comic book show and we always fan cast. And this is one time I admit I didn't read the comic books. I like the art and I got to go back to look at it. I know there was video games and I saw that, some to play the video games and they really kept it true to the world. But as always, I need to know more about the backstory. Now, I know to Peter's chagrin, he did not like the movie with Charlize Theron. A lot of fans were out there and like, oh no, they didn't like how the movie is going to be. Right. I'm on the opposite side of that spectrum. I like the movie because the movie, maybe it took some elements away and got away from the true, as the fans would say, essence of it. But it gave me a beginning, a middle, and the end for both of these characters.
Right.
And Charlize Theron, you couldn't go wrong. Like Charlize Theron, okay, let's look at this actress. She doesn't shy away from action movies. I mean, she's done some big blockbuster action movies. If you watch Atomic Blonde, the character she plays and the villain she plays in Fast and Furious, right? But I mean, like a physical role, Atomic Blonde, Aeon Flux, of course, at the time. She and just look at a plethora of work that she's already done.
Right. And
so she's got the acting chops to hit on certain emotions, and I liked her in this movie. I was really hoping that it would have done more, and if they were going to do a second one, that they would have brought her back somehow, some capacity at the time. And up to now, I ain't taking nothing away for Charlize Theron. That's my girl, boy. You can't. She did it right. Like you had a good. No, sorry, excuse me. You had a great name in the project with Charlize Theron. That's my 2 cents.
Correct.
I know Peter, as I said, he didn't like it because it got away from what he wanted to be, even though they asked him a lot of questions about the world. But you got to keep in mind that as far out as his thoughts might have been, you got to make it translate. You can't have it like how the series was as a big budget movie.
Right. Because it was very not only far fetched, but you can easily see the hidden subliminal imagery and what it was trying to portray. So trying to bring that and try to relate that to the big screen. You know what I mean? First off, it was made for much MTV. So right there, you know what your capacity is. You know who you're focusing for type of scenario. Now you're gonna try to bring this to the big screen. Yeah, I can't have her doing those type of moves. I can't have this scene in here because it just wouldn't again.
It wouldn't translate.
It wouldn't translate. No, sorry, it will translate, but you're not gonna get the results you want. If you want to, if basically it's a business. If you want to make money and you want people to come in to your theater and watch your movie and possibly make toys and possibly have stuff that you can spin off of. If you actually had it as true to what the original cartoon was, yeah, you're literally just minimizing your opportunities right there. So just do that. So they had to rewrite it. It had to be rewritten to give it a little bit more feel. That was the only way about it.
Right, I agree. And the thing is, it wasn't like they totally ran and just walked away from him. They sat there and had multiple conversations with Peter saying, okay, tell us more about this because they're really interested. And he told them, but they still got to do it. I think maybe if they would have found a way to make him happy, I don't know what he really didn't like about it. He just said he didn't like it. It was like, he just looked at it. He said he felt sadness and he didn't like it and he wanted to walk away from it. And it's a shame that the creator wanted to didn't feel the connection with the movie. Because myself, I mean, maybe fans are out there and you guys didn't like the movie. Tell me why. And let's keep it, polite and why you didn't like the movie. Or if you did, I like the movie. I like how Charlize Theron went about it. I know they gave her character a sister. I know how the ending was, but at least I got an ending. Why she did certain things. What was her motivation behind that? And she still did all the moves as much as possible. She was still like a top tier spy. They got more into the organization that was behind the city that hired her, trained her, and why she went there. And then you find out, okay, and it came back to my theory about cloning. So cloning was kind of brought in with this movie at the very end, and you see the plot twist. And when you get to the end of the live action movie, now your understanding is like, well, now I see why there's an attraction between the two characters. 100%. Now I understand. So they took it and did their own variation of it, which I think was tastefully done with what they had on time. Keep in mind, these were 10-minute shorts, and they turned this into a full-length movie.
100%.
Costume was nice. The actress, Charlize, played it very well. Very well. The script and so forth. So, I know certain things are not going to be, for the purist out there, we're never going to get a pure adaptation of any movie when it exists as another medium.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again, not bash or say anything harsh.
No.
But I'm just saying, like for the audience and stuff like that, it's just one of those realism type of aspect that, again, as much as you want it to be, that would have to have been like a private, occult video. You know what I mean?
Fan-made film, cult video. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't fan-made, like if it was made, it was like basically whoever's making that, they know going in,
right?
There's only a limited amount of people who are going to watch this. Those who are cult fave fans who are going to watch it. That means my audience is now brought down. I know I'm going for this tier of audience.
Right.
I want everybody, but I know I'm only going to get a certain amount.
Yes.
But if you know that going in and you realize, okay, I'm doing this for the love of doing this for the love of the art, doing this for the love of for the IP, and you're doing it, and the person, whoever is investing in it, and that's really what it comes down to, whoever's investing in it, realize like, listen, I just got money in the bank, I got nothing to do, just take it and go. Then fine. Make that movie, and then it'll turn into one of those cult favorites that that you're attached to that.
Mm.
You've created something that many people will just love, and basically will just adore for the rest of their lives. You've now made a top tier movie, that is only for a specific group of individuals, and let it grow from there organically. Perfect. But it's a business. They basically want to be able to, reap as much as what they harvest, what they sowed into this investment. They want to be able to reap and harvest out as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Which again, it's a business.
Oh, that's it. But I said I like the movie. I mean, the movie itself, the live action movie was done and released in theaters in December 2nd of 2005. So if you look at when this project first came out back in like 1991, and then in 2005, here we are. So it's more than 14 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
15, whatever.
No, you're right. 14 years.
14 years.
14 years.
This thing came out and they did a live action about it. Hey. Absolutely. That shows you that it still had legs and people were still interested in the property
110
on that movie from that far back. And it made money. I'm not sure what it ended up making at the box office.
It made at the box office, it made 52.3 million.
Okay.
The budget itself was 55 to 62. So they were under.
So they were under, but keeping the box office, and that's the box office. Now, of course, remember, it's always going to go to sales. So when you get into sales, and that's where it gets a lot of difference, right? So the box office is going to make X, and that box office is, the U.S. box office. I know critics, weren't big on it. It wasn't really received well with the critics. And they say it was a bomb, but now always keep in mind, there's the U.S. box office, and then there's the international box office. So how much did it do in Japan and overseas? I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when it gets released on home video, that's another thing. So a lot of times it might not do well in the box office, but then on home release, boom, it's a different story. So bottom line, I don't think the studio took a bath on this at all. They didn't make
actually,
a profit.
Right now, you know what? I'm seeing this right now. So basically, domestically.
Yes.
Domestically, they made 25. They made 26, just under 26 million.
Okay.
Worldwide, they took in 52.
Oh.
So yes, that's where I can say again, how it is. It's, it's a U.S. product. You like to have more at the home base. So I could see why they were like thinking like, it wasn't that good. But in reality, I liked it myself. It brought me a close adaptation to what the source material was. And,
absolutely.
And it worked for the time. They worked with what they had. They worked with the time, was able to bring the best of their ability to the market. And yeah, it was good. I
liked it, man. I mean, it was way better to me than Ultraviolet. That movie, Ultraviolet. All right, we had a moment of silence for that movie.
Yeah,
that's the only time I'm going to mention that. It was complete opposite. I mean, I really loved Aeon Flux. I love the character. I love this, everything about it. I was excited to see it, and when I watched it in the theater, for myself personally, I was not disappointed. I think people are sometimes being a little bit too tough. I think it was great, and the fact that the Peter had a lot of influences by other artists, and one of the main influences was Morbius. So Morbius as a sci-fi artist, amazing. His work is so out there. It's dark. It's moving. It elicits a lot of emotions within you. And to give you an example, Morbius, his worked very much so with Alien, the first Alien movie. So a lot of those designs for aliens, all the alien itself design, the ship, all this background, that was Morbius's art and influence with that. You got some good heavy hitters there, and some other great artists from overseas that were really a great influence with this project. So this is what I'm talking about. This might not be a long topic, but I really liked Aeon Flux. I love that she had a gymnastic style. She's an assassin. She's a spy. Okay. All right. And with everything now said and done, and Charlize Theron. Okay. Done.
Yeah.
I was very happy about that. How you say anything bad about Charlize Theron in a skin tight bodysuit? Come on now, son. Come on. Just enjoy it. It's eye candy, but eye candy with major talent. So, I liked it. That's my thing. I really liked it. I think this character still has legs. There's still a cult following. I think there's still the following is still there. As the saying goes, build it, they will come. Now, maybe the movie, at the time was the best they could have done.
Those are the words I was going to say. At the time, that's what they were able to do. Or,
yes.
They were allowed the amount of room that they could work with at the time. That's what they can do. Nowadays, you're seeing more, you're seeing that the boundaries are now being pushed a little bit more in theaters. So what's being allowed, what's being allowed, services, right? But this is what I'm saying. Certain things like that is now being allowed and is out there, the public eye, and they're now more adapted to seeing these things. We are correct. If we were to bring this back now and have the ability to kind of give it another round at it again, I believe it would actually do well because it has action. It has that sci-fi type of futuristic George Jetson kind of, familiarity that everybody likes. We're at this point, we're trying to figure out, are you an anti-hero or a protagonist or an anti-hero? You know what I mean? Like what's your game? What's your view on this? You start to feel for the character. We see other IPs, with that same type of genre, that type of feel, and people are drawn to it. So Aeon Flux does have the ability to basically get a second life, definitely nowadays. For those who remember, like you said, those who remember and recall the original, the cartoon, I think they would actually be able to gravitate to it much better now because there's more allowances that's out there that they'll be able to get they will get a closer representation of what they feel the characters should represent. I feel that you can get closer, but right now, I have no problem watching Aeon Flux right now. No problem. None. It can go on. It can come on right now, and the stream's like, "Good night, everybody." Beep.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing that right now, but I won't do it because I'm here for everybody. Right on.
Right, but after the show.
Right on.
Right on. So I know we might be talking about this, what it is. So bottom line is, I think Peter Chung, great. Thank you for opening this world. MTV, good on you. And good on you for pushing for a series and not just like little shorts where the character dies all the time. That's positive. Good, positive with actually doing with a live action property of it. So that IP definitely about that. So it's there. It's there. Now, at the time, as I said, if we're looking back at 2005, you didn't have all the streaming services we have now, or the streaming services weren't competing to do their own properties. Let's put it this way. You would not have gotten Peacemaker, right?
100%.
With John Cena. Now, if it was back then, Peacemaker would have either been a TV show, direct-to-DVD movie, or a big budget movie. And as an audience, we've grown, we've matured. I don't think Peacemaker back, if you would have done it the same way you did it now with that same tones and everything involved with it, it was perfect for now. Then it would have been too advanced. It would have been one of those slow burns of, we don't understand it, makes sense. And then of course, 20 years later, now we get it, right? Because, the audience, people's mentalities have changed and gone forward a certain way. So that being said, Aeon Flux, can Aeon Flux come back? Yes. Do I want it to come back? Yes. And this is what we're here for. So this one's not overly long. We did a good long one with Fire and Ice, and now we're here with Aeon Flux. Here we go. I will say, do I want to see another live action adaptation of this IP? Absolutely. Would I want to see it as a movie? No. I would try to go back to some of its roots and you're not going to get not 10-minute shorts, but I would say give me a 45-minute episodes on a streaming service, because with a streaming service you can do whatever. It doesn't have to be a certain time length. Let's look at Disney Plus. Disney Plus, all their shows were not an hour long. Their shows were like 40 minutes. But because it's 40 minutes with no commercials, you're just getting all meat and potatoes.
Right.
No side dish. You know what I mean? No fluffer, no dessert. That you're just getting meat and potatoes. So time-wise, it doesn't have to be that long. But give me a couple of episodes on a streaming service and really get into playing with the characters and building on that. That's where I would go with. So I would, especially now that streaming services are becoming more or have become more popular. A lot of them are now putting in and doing original content. So Netflix is not just Netflix. It's, you got your Netflix, you got your Amazon, you got Paramount Plus, and they're putting money into these properties. This is why we got the new Lord of the Rings series, and it's because and HBO. This is because we got Peacemaker, and it goes on. Vox Machina, that cartoon that's on Amazon Prime.
Right.
Yo. Okay.
Well, pause. Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Yes. So that's what I'm going with. So I would not want to see it as a big budget movie because I think there's too much to put in a movie right away that you might miss some spot, some really of the nice nuances that would keep it going. And at the same time, I don't think it would kind of work out to like a 3-picture deal because movies always want to have a 3-picture deal to build on it. It's very rare they do a one and done. So if you really want to get, more, and this is my opinion, more out of the property, and you want to really build that audience and kind of keep it true and do the pacing, I would go with a streaming service live action to do it. I mean, the cartoon has been done. It's graduated to live action. Let's keep it live action. You had James Cameron, was it Dark Angel at one point? Then it was a TV show. You had Dollhouse by Joss Whedon. That was really good in building on stuff. So, all right, let's go along those lines. That's where I think this would kind of stand out. So I'll say my fan cast after. But Rod, what do you think on where would you like to see this go?
You know what? I actually, similar to what you're saying, definitely we have the cartoon, we have the anime short, so I wouldn't want to continue with that. I would actually like to have a feature.
Really?
But I would actually want at least a 2. And I would agree that a 3, I don't know if they could pull a 3. Here's my thought. Because, these shorts were like 10 minutes long and whatever along that line. Yes, they have a certain amount, but I feel that you should be able to at least take all that and be able to, extract at least a 2-part movie in that sense. So we're having a very nice elongated storyline, but at the end of one, it's not finished. We are going to continue into part 2 is over on this one, which you don't see that often these days.
True.
That's why I would like to have something different. Slash as well. I want to give it for the I'm not saying the word the purist, but I want to give for those who feel that they may have felt, like you said, you and I, we didn't feel slighted from the 2005 movie. But there are people out there who feel slighted from the 2005 movie.
Right.
So I want to give them the opportunity that they can get the full screen movie, representation. Have that adaptation right in front of them. And now, like I said, nowadays the lay of the land is much different in 2005. So now they can get very close, or they can get closer to what they can see the parity between a live adaptation and the anime. And I feel that, given that, because a lot of, not to say a lot, but like I said, that similarity is already there. So I'm just feeling for this particular one, this is something that people already know. You know what I mean? You already know the shorts, you already know who she is. So this is not like it's a brand new character that we have no idea who she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to at least take all those shorts, give it a a more 3D look to it, give it a little realism, and have the ability. I'm sure, again, Peter may not have thought to have it connected to each other, but I'm sure if you look at all those shorts, you can basically do some good, moves and make a nice story out of that. where you'll add in more to give it, a more a better feel to it, whatever the case may be. But I feel with all the tension or that type of interaction between her and Trevor, just like you, yes, I want a live action. I know you want a series, but I would prefer having at least a two-cut movie, two-part movie on that, and just basically just give it from there. I think it will be a good run. We can now, in that sense, relieve those who thought they were slighted.
Yeah, true. Okay.
That's how my head is thinking along that line, because I think that if we never had an Aeon Flux movie at all, then I can think maybe we'll go towards a series and expand from there. But we've had something. So we had the cartoon, we had a live action. The results on that people didn't seem to like too tough. So I would like to kind of give them a chance to say, okay, all right, because they do it with other movies. We have other movies that got live adaptation, and you realize it didn't do good, reboot it again. And they won't go series, they won't go anime, they'll go right back to
another movie,
full feature, and not even blink an eye. So I would like to, in that sense, give them that opportunity for that, because I feel, especially with today's, also as well, what we see in the anime, I need that budget. I need that budget. I need that budget to get it out.
I get you saying. Yes, absolutely.
I need that budget to get it out, because there's like
the scenery is its own character. The city is its own character. The backdrops, 100%. The buildings, the trains, the cars.
110%.
The robots, 110%. They are also a character themselves. It's not just about between 100%. Aeon and Trevor. It's both of their cities, and both their cities have a different look, a different feel. 100%. Overall, the cities themselves are characters.
I need to at least get that feel on there, so we can utilize that and just let everybody know, like, we're giving you everything, giving you 110% on it. Like, we're not saying that a TV would shortchange it, but you just know that if you watch it, like, they could have probably did something else there. But if you got a full budget, full budget one, that means, okay, now you guys have no excuse. You guys have the budget now. Give me what I want, type of scenario, and let's see what we got. So, like you said, the characters are there. The city itself is already a character in itself. So I feel that those type of that's for me, honestly, not even to drag it on anymore. Whenever I see certain movies that are very futuristic, because you're giving someone's idea, their vision, their ideology that they're bringing out to you. Doing that on a TV show is great, but in reality, when there's a show that's within this particular time frame, I'm okay with the TV show, because I know that they don't have to work so hard to give me extra on the backdrop, give me extra on, the content that I'm about to feel and everything like that. Now, when you're doing something that's a little bit futuristic, now, again, everybody using these words, multiverse type of conversations, but this is really what it is. You're giving me another universe. You're giving me another world. And I want to see, what is your vision? What were your thoughts? What was the writer's thought? And especially if it's an author who, from a book, hopefully the book can be translated through the writer, through the script, to give me something, because I don't know what the script is, but I know what the book is. You know what I mean? So at least I know one source material. So right at this point, I know the source material, which is the cartoon. That's the source material / the 2005 movie. So now I have two pieces of source material. Let me see if you guys can merge that and give me something.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
So that's my view. That's how I look at it.
I'm not right. I mean, and that's what it is. I mean, sometimes we agree, and sometimes we have our own different views. And I do see your point where you're coming from. I still believe in a streaming service, not a TV show, but a streaming service, because they have bigger budgets and they'll get to it. I'm looking at what Lord of the Rings did. I know it was a big budget. I know they got to get that, but hopefully with success, where it's got to come through for me is one, whoever plays the character. I know we haven't said it yet. We're going to get to it in a second. But whoever plays the character, for me, it's got to have a couple of elements in there. So one, you have to have the costume as close as possible, or a good variation of it, and even close to the hairstyle, because the hairstyle too had its own uniqueness to it,
Right.
And I still think Charlize Theron, amazing job how she looked, did it A to Z.
Oh yeah,
it has to be, and Charlize, she was very graceful. No matter what she does, the fighting style has to be graceful. It's not going to be a boxing fighting style. It's got to be a very fluid motion, acrobatic style in it. Yeah. So the character has to look like they have that kind of fluidity to them from their walking, even to the fighting style. But the fighting style has to incorporate a lot of acrobatics. It's got to have that in there. So, even if the city, for myself, if the backdrop is a little bit less, but the when the action happens, it's in there. And I'll say this, for a live action property, I find they do it more in cartoons. In cartoons, if you look at Samurai Jack, it's got a page of dialogue in a 20-minute episode, right? A page of dialogue. And Jack only says maybe 2 lines, F that.
100%. Yep.
There's times where it's okay for it to have minimal dialogue. Let the character portray that with body language, facial expressions to convey and advance the story, and things they pick up and see along, and the character can read what they're reading. So it's okay, because in Aeon Flux, there was not a lot of dialogue in the cartoon. Correct. Sometimes they try to overcompensate. I'll be okay if you even add a narrator at certain points, saying, "Oh, this is what Aeon has been designed to do," blah 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 blah, and then let the story go. So that's where it comes into. So that's the way I think it should come into. We know what she's supposed to be. I know visually how she's supposed to look. She can't come in there boxing like Mike Tyson. She got to come in there floating like a butterfly. She can't and sting like a bee. Like, really, it's got to be that kind of. If you look at, was it wushu martial arts, right? Kung fu. It's not like Jet Kundo with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was like very sharp snaps. It's got to be almost a crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Still have, but speed it up. I don't want it to be too dancey. It's got to be still have its movements to it, but still show that gracefulness. So that's where I come into. So now, this brings me into the fan cast part of it, of our show. All right, now I got my person here, my actress here. I just gotta pull it up. I saved it on my phone because I did not want to forget the girl's name. And yes, so with all that in mind, the actress that I went for is Anya Taylor-Joy. Right? She was in a movie called The Queen's Gambit. She's done a ton of other projects, from comedy. She's got a unique look. Right? She's very they would say slender. There's another word for it, right? But she's got she's got a unique look that I think would add tons to Aeon. I understand her hair is going to be different, but she's, done, as I said, Anya Taylor-Joy has done a lot as an actress in the movies and the projects she's done. She's been in the Queen's Gambit, The Menu, The Witch, Last Night in Soho, Northman, The Northman, Split. She was in Split also, and it goes on. Emma. And the list just keeps, like, Peaky Blinders. She's even in that show, and I like that show, Peaky Blinders. Almost finished watching them. She was in the New Mutants.
Okay.
She played Alana Rasputin, Colossus' sister.
Got it. Okay.
Right? So she plays that character. There you go. So she was in Glass. She's not, not her first rodeo into the superhero genre, we should say, or a sci-fi genre, for sure. I think she would make a great Aeon Flux with her look, her skill set as an actress, and adding more to that enigma of Aeon Flux. Because even when I look at the actress, Anya, she seems like an enigma. Like she always seems that there's, there's more going on behind that you don't know, but she's got that curiosity about her. It's like you look at her and you're like, okay, there's something more behind the eyes, and it keeps you guessing. And she brings that to that role, would be as Aeon and take the lead. And she has done the lead. I mean, The Queen's Gambit was, I believe it was a biopic about playing chess, and she took the lead. And I know she can do the lead. She absolutely can do the lead in an action movie. She's been in action movies already.
Okay.
So that's who I'm going with.
Okay.
Oh,
nice. All right. So I just had my individual. Okay. So I hear what you're saying. So that's a good point. So I chose. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Oh, yeah, no, I just.
You got so much going on. I know.
I had so much going. No. Because I was looking at someone, and I wanted someone slightly different. So I was going for. I wanted to try something different. So I wanted someone who has the ability, who is. You don't see them doing action, like fighting type of action, right? But I wanted to have that type of actor, because it's funny that you were talking about in regards to having the scenes without talking.
Right.
Right. So I wanted to have someone that basically who could just, who's a character actor, who does these type of serious roles. And then you can see, that they've done the serious roles and stuff along that line, and that they can, kind of talk without talking.
Yes.
So if there's ever, and because you were saying like, maybe I feel like then they know the source material. If we know the source material from the cartoon, there are episodes where she doesn't talk and there's no dialogue, but everything goes through. So you don't have to give me a whole movie, but if there's at least like 10, 15 minutes or a good 10, and again, we say 10, 15 minutes, but in a movie, 10, 15 minutes of no talking.
In an hour and a half movie? That's a lot.
That's a lot. So that's just showing how serious is stuff like that. So the person I wanted to choose was Charlotte Sullivan. Charlotte Sullivan, she's worked in a lot of drama shows. So she's worked like in Chicago 5, Law and Order, Organized Crime, Blue Bloods, Okay. So she's also, one of the recent stuff she's been doing was she had an episode in Wyatt Earp, but mainly in that sense, like she's done these shows in like Chicago. She played Anna Turner in Chicago Fire. She's in Law and Order, Organized Crime. She was Gina Capiletti. Let me see if I say this right. Capiletti. I apologize in advance. But I wanted to just see someone who has a similarity. So we know the criteria we're looking for. We're looking for someone who's slender. We're looking for someone who is tall, who has the ability to move and kind of be graceful in that regard, right? So I wanted to at least find someone who has that ability to do that. Now she's in these particular drama ones. She can. I saw her. I was looking through. Honestly, I was looking through, and I come across her profile, and I was like, let me see what else she's done. And then I start to see, because she's done a lot of drama stuff. I'm like, why can't I think from that aspect of having?
She was in Smallville.
She was in Smallville. Thank you.
Yes,
and that's what I'm looking. And I'm like, honestly, I didn't even scroll that far back down.
She was in Smallville. She plays a major character that I know. The one that always wanted to have Superman there as a lover, Maxima. Yes. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
So I wanted to at least have that type of, again, some action right there. But this is who I wanted to have. I wanted to give that opportunity to speak and not speak. Yes. I'm going from the drama aspect of the circumference to have her play that role.
Okay. I got you, cuz. I got you, man. I like that. That's a good pick, though. That's really a good pick. So this is a hard one, because I'm sticking with my pick, and I know you're sticking with your pick. So, for everyone out there, make a pick, make a decision. Let us know who you down with, Aeon Flux. But I'll say this one last piece though: if they're gonna, no matter what they do, if they do another movie or they do it as a series or whatever, I still want to see Charlize Theron back in there.
Oh, helping you.
Right, in a different role. So if you're gonna get a new actress to play it, I want Charlize Theron to be the one who gives, Aeon Flux the orders, so to speak, and let her be, Aeon's new boss. Let that be that kind of passing of the torch. I think that would. I'm all about passing the torch, bringing back the original character. Let that be, something along those lines. So that's my 2 cents there. So yeah, I'm down with Aeon Flux. No matter what, I'm down with Aeon Flux. And you people don't like it, shame on you. Give it a second chance. Watch it. Beat the cartoon in a live action movie. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Come on now, son. Come on. You've all seen worse.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the 70s and you watched the Marvel movie back in the 70s, you seen worse. And you liked it. I know I did.
Yeah. I might have seen something too. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, shoot. Sweet. On that note, Rod, any last words? I should say, not any last moment. Any last words?
Last
rights.
Listen, it's Aeon is she's a cult favorite. She's a cult favorite, and the cartoon did good.
Yeah.
It was definitely at that time. It was they pushed the boundaries at that time. So I'm just saying, like, nowadays, you're going to have people who are going to look at stuff like that and be like, ooh, that was too much. You know what? It can work right now. All I know, Aeon Flux can easily walk into this universe very well now. She can walk into this universe right now. We can have this. People will drawn to it once they see it. I'm sure once people start clicking on this particular podcast, start hearing about it, start looking, they'll be like, oh, that can work. So Barry and I are right. This would be a great time to bring her back into the fold. And let's do another round with her. It'll work.
Absolutely. Let's get another round by 2025. Let's get another Aeon Flux property and let's put it out there. Aeon Flux property. I'm down with that. I'll say this. I like the characters. I like the actress that you picked. I like the actress I picked. You can let us know if there's someone else or you're down and you agree with either myself or with Rod. And, let's bring it back. Take a look at the comic books. I know I'm going to. That's for sure. And you're always looking for something to watch. Hey, it's already out there. Give it a second shot. Charlize Theron, that's my girl. And on that note, thank you, Peter Chung, for being the creator of this property. And sometimes you just need it. Sometimes we got to go back before we take a step forward. So on that note, this has been the Iconist Podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review where you see our podcast. We do this every week. Tuesdays, videos come out on YouTube. Wednesdays, the audio is everywhere you stream your podcast from. And this whole world was created. And Peter definitely did this. Peter created this character with a pencil, a piece of paper, and using lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming.
Let's go.
Well, now I need to get myself a black leather outfit because you know what? I would be fire on that.
No. And then your back gives out. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, my spleen!
Foot.
Take care, everybody.
Later.